week has been very interesting in our work environment. As you know, or if you don't know, I'm a sports reporter in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I work at a TV station. Elijah also works at that same TV station as a hybrid, working in both news and in sports. And this week was very, very interesting because it shows the reality of what it is like and what happens in working in the sports media world. So Monday, um, I cover the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns, and it's now basketball season as football season is kind of winding down. So Monday they have media availabilities where we were able to have interviews with the head coaches of whatever teams that they bring. During football season is football and soccer that come up and talk every single week, and volleyball that come up and talk every single week. Um, because of the type of schedule that I keep and being a one person sports department, so to speak, I'm not always able to get to those Monday availabilities because I might have something else. So the past couple of weeks I hadn't been there, right? So I went and I spoke with the head coach. Again, it's a formal press conference, so there are other media members there in the room. Louisiana men's basketball at the time was 2-9 on the season. And so I asked the question to the head coach, Bob Marlin. I asked him, Coach, why should fans continue to support this team, your staff, and also you as the leader of this team? And I've been doing this long enough to where I can understand like how coaches are and what kind of ways I can ask a question to get some type of answer out of them. Obviously, when you start off 2-9, people start saying fire the coach. Um, but Coach Marlin has been with UL for 15 seasons, and he's had success. He is the winningest coach in the program's history, and he's the winningest coach in the conference. So that alone should give him grace of, all right, this ain't no good year, but maybe we could get this turned around. So when I asked him that question, I asked him that question in thinking that he would say something along the lines of, hey, guys, we know this is really ugly right now, but we are going to continue to fight. And if you continue to stick with us, we are going to get this turned around. We're going to get on a hot streak. We're going to win the conference tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. Some passionate answer. That is not what happened. Coach Marlin, uh, in a way I can understand, got defensive and said that they're fans. They're going to support us. They always support us. And he said, I know sometimes you want to be negative, but we're not negative. And then he asked me, were you at the game last Saturday? In that game, the Cajuns had played against Lamar and they lost by 29. I said, no. But unbeknownst to him, I was in New Orleans or driving back from New Orleans from the state championship games that were happening for high school. And so he said, I know you weren't there. I didn't think so. You weren't at a bunch of them, right? So that happens. Again, I went and I asked that question, hoping to get some kind of passionate answer. I got one, right? Because I wanted to, because I feel like our job as the media is to not only present the truth, but to almost be a springboard for whatever player or coach, whatever message they want to get out there. If you want to say my opponent sucks, say it in front of this microphone. You have the opportunity to do that. That's we have the chance to do that. So it's not only about us presenting truth, but us allowing people to speak their own truth in a way, right? So the video gets out, it gets posted, and it goes semi-viral within the market. Everybody's talking about it. You know, and then the Cajuns played Wednesday. They played in their first Sun Belt conference game of the season, and I was in the house. The Cajuns win the game, right? So then we're in post game, and I asked Coach Marlin a question afterwards, and I said, "How dangerous can this team be?" Jokingly, he said, "We could be pretty good if you keep showing up. We're 1-0, right?" Afterward, me and him shook hands. He said, "It's all good, whatever." Since then, me and Coach Marlin have talked. We said happy holidays, Merry Christmas to each other. Like, it's all good. So I want to go on record saying me and Bob Marlin do not have no beef. And that's the last time I'm going to address that, because people have been on social media saying, oh man, yeah, making jokes of it and all this stuff of, what's that meme where it's like, I showed up to my biggest hater's funeral just to make sure he was dead. People were like tweeting all this stuff. I got no beef with that man. I've been working here in this market for 4 years. Coach Marlin was one of the first coaches that I met, and he had high praises for me. He's had high praises all the way through. It happens, and that's a reality in the sports media world. So this story continues. We get to Thursday. I'm at the house chilling. Bob Marlin gets fired. And I'm shocked because now, again, with the way social media is, the video is out there. People are saying, is this what got Bob Marlin fired? All of those things like that. So I got to get on TV and talk about it. We talk about him getting fired on Thursday. Friday, the athletic director, Brian Maggard, gets up and he speaks to the media and tells us what happened. So what happened was on Monday afternoon, Coach Marlin had a very messed up Monday because after my question, Q&A that afternoon, him and Dr. Maggard sat down and had a conversation in which he was given two choices, whether Maggard decided that he wanted to go in a different direction. He gave him the option to either retire. They would announce his retirement on Thursday, and he would coach the rest of the season. They would kind of give him a last dance victory lap type of season, and he would be able to finish out his tenure, and it would end on June 30th. The second option, that he would take his buyout and that he would cut his losses and be let go. Coach Marlin chose the latter. He said, I don't want no victory tour. I'm getting out of here. Okay. So it was a very interesting news cycle all in 1 week. And the reality of all of this is that there are some instances where we got to ask some tough questions, bro. And that is a legitimate question that I asked him. And I think that he truly understands with the place that it comes from, that it was not intended in malice at all, as I said before, right? But sometimes we have to ask those questions because y'all, as people, the viewers, fans, have those same questions. And my job as a reporter, if I got my ears to the street and I'm hearing people say, man, we not happy, we want a coaching change, I got to ask, Coach, do you feel like you're coaching for your job? Do you feel like you're getting the same support from the fans that you originally were? Those are tough questions that I have to ask because I get paid for it. But he get paid to answer those tough questions the same way that he get paid to win ball game. That goes across all sports. I've had to ask tough questions after losses. Like I remember Coach Dez, the first season that he took over fully as head coach, and they had the nation's longest standing win streak, and they went to Rice and they lost the game. And I think I asked him something along the lines of, where does the blame fall for their offensive performance in that game? He said it fully falls on me. That's a tough question I had to ask. And he had to answer that tough question. So the reality of working in sports media, bro, is that sometimes you got to ask the tough questions. Now, I'm not the type of person, I'm not running to ask that question every single time, because I know somebody else in the room will ask it. Now, if I see that they don't, I got to ask it. I'm not running to the front of the line to be Mr. Negative to say, do you think you're getting fired? Because you do got reporters out there that they ask them questions for clickbait. They get in front of the camera. They get in these rooms in press conferences, banging on their chest, trying to be the one to go viral every single time. You do have reporters that do that, right? I ain't one of them guys. I just want to tell stories, tell the truth, and allow people to share their truths. That's all it is. And do it in a way where we can all be respectful. And at the end of the day, you go to your house, I go to my house. That's it. So yeah, Elijah was kind of seeing a lot of this stuff secondhand. What is your perspective of as being a reporter. I don't know if you have any similar instances where you've had to deal with tough experiences like this. But what is your scope of the reality of working in the sports media world?
Like you said, man, there's fans of these teams and they want to know the answers just as much as we want to know. It goes back to that clip. I don't know the guy's name, but it was at a Denver basketball game, the Denver Nuggets, and the guy asked, "Hey, is such and such playing today?" I don't know. Let me ask. Hey, are you playing today? He was like, yeah, he's playing today. There's your answer like that. We have that luxury to do that. I know with the fans aspect because they're not actually getting paid to report and be media. They just have a bunch of questions that they would like to ask, and that's what really generates our stories. Our stories is basically coming off of the fans and the wanting of know, the wanting to know. So like you said, man, I never really had that experience, but it is a tough thing to go through. But what I'm gonna say is that I'm happy that people get to see it that came out of the league and now doing it now with the Matt Barnes, the Ryan Clarks, the Steven Jacksons. They have to sit down and do this stuff now because at the end of the day, they can't just sit there and just talk about locker room stories all the time. Because if we just telling that, we okay, like that's cool, ha ha. But we gotta ask why Kawhi not on the court right now? Like, what are you doing? You gotta ask that. So at the end of the day, I'm happy that the new media gets to see it. I'm happy that you got to share what happened because a lot of people did think that you were the reason, and you had this thing about you that's like, yeah, he's out of here. Cause Jamarcus isn't like that. He wasn't nobody. Nobody was calling for that man's job. We was thinking Marlon was going to be around no matter what. We thought he at least had a couple more years to finish out his contract and things of that nature. Of course, Dr. Maggart thought otherwise, and it happened. So um, I'm happy that people get to see how media really is and how it works, and uh, that's really it, man. I have no negative thing to say about it. It just it's the way the cookie crumbles here. So.
It is. And while I had this moment too, I want to go on record to say, like, Maggart mentioned that one of the reasons that he wanted to make this change was because he saw the decline from fan support. So, to the fans of Cajun Nation, stop buying them tickets and not going to them games. Stop buying them tickets and not going to the games. Go to the games. You've been asking to get this man fired, and by no means am I saying that Bob Marlin should have been fired. I was not calling for that man's job. I wish him the best. I hope he take that buyout and go on the beach and have a Merry Christmas. But now that y'all got what you've been asking for, go to the games. Same way I told y'all to show up for that Sunbelt Championship game for the football team in December. Well, we still in December, but at the beginning of December. The same way, y'all need to show up for these teams. Because, bro, at the end of the day, it's the bottom line. If we ain't making no money, somebody got to answer for this. So, him being an athletic director, looking at the fact that people were saying, oh, I'd go to the game if we'd have a different coach. He said, well, we got to get a different coach. So now, and they played McNeese on Sunday as we're recording this episode. I don't know what the full attendance was, but I was looking on the feed because I was not physically at the game, right? Because I can't work 7 days a week. But I was looking at the feed, and the crowd looked pretty good. Keep doing that. Keep showing up. Otherwise, you're going to make that man look crazy. Because, okay, now he done fired this man and y'all still not showing up. Show up, bro. Come to the game. Come support them. And I'll even go on record to say this. Go to the women's game, too. You know why? Because them games been free for like 2 years now. Anybody could walk off the street. Somebody could just be walking down the street and say, hey, what's in this building? At 5 o'clock on a random Tuesday, and could walk into a women's basketball game and would be able to sit down. Show up to that game too. That I ain't gonna go off about that too much, but y'all know what y'all need. Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also Follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.